Hello everybody, my name is Josh. This is a list of original soundtracks which reflects on my personal taste and also on how I admire the way they integrate themselves with their games and gameplay. Music has a powerful hold over the way we feel. When you're absorbed in a world, it can add to the flavour of somewhere and even remind you of the things you've done and the places you've seen. This effect is even stronger when it uses cues from what's happening to match the music with it. I first remember noticing this in the original Left 4 Dead when the backing track flowed and changed its pace depending on if you were fighting or running, and there were music stings for special zombie spawns. The games in this video are recent examples of how indie games have used clever design to capture moods and emotions to guide the player. Every review of this I read mentions the amazing music. One of my favourite things is when a game uses different parts together to reinforce your experience. Hotline Miami nails this by using fast-paced, trancey tunes like my favourite, Hydrogen by Moon. If you don't know the story, I won't spoil it for you, but the intense action where you have so little room to breathe is matched by the track's heavy beats and driving tunes. Restarting levels 20 times a minute after getting your brain smashed in just to try and get some of the floors cleared is the definition of insanity, and that's mirrored by the repetitive melodies. When that's over, the slower parts of the soundtrack slide in with heavy distortion like the guitars in Silver Lights by Coconuts that sound like the buzz in your head after an adrenaline rush. Imagine for a second if it was the other way around, standing in your apartment to "Ah, papers arrived. That one's going on the conspiracy wall." And then spraying blood and guts everywhere to the chilling sounds of "Blam, blam, die, you vagabonds." It doesn't make any sense. It's this up and down of murderous rampage to wandering around convenience stores in confusion. This is what the tunes highlight for me. It drills into your mind as you rush a room full of guys with guns for the millionth time. Hotline Miami is infused with 80s bassline and synth sounds that bring the tone of the area to the DeLorean driving, coke-fueled, mafia blasting gameplay. Best played loudly with headphones on. One of the themes in Fez is exploration. The music created for it by Disaster Piece works in a similar way to the Hotline Miami's OST does, but it works as part of the scenery. Electronic soundscapes that capture the space of places visited by Gomez, that's the character with the hat, they range from bright and cheery to sombre and dark. One that sticks out is Sync, because in the level that it's from, the platforms appear, disappear and flash to the beat. The blocks flash as if they are making the tune when single notes play and stop at the same time as the platform. As you get to each new jumping segment, a new part of the tune is revealed, and finally you ascend to the exit as the notes do the same, playing as you get higher. The idea of living in a computerized world is also incorporated into the music. One level has you navigating an area that has been completely corrupted. It's almost impossible to see for all the tiles that are constantly shifting and changing all around you. The shapes are pulled from all the different areas of the game and slammed together on screen, so the music does the same. Motifs from the places you've been are cut into the track Glitch, over the top of a jumpy and uneven beat. It makes it feel like this part of the world is falling apart. I have to say that my favourite track is Continuum because of the classical structure played by chiptune instruments, plus the fact that it goes with the game's spectacular ending sequences. Varied and far-reaching, a hint of this soundtrack instantly brings back images of the world of Fez. A small roguelike with music by Jerry Mickle. It uses a variation of the same tune for each of its 3 game modes. The first is Beginner, obviously the easiest of the 3. The tune is led by a bass line and a steady beat. Very simple, but when you play Expert or Calmer mode, the game starts off with a melody layer that picks up the pace. Once again, it uses the music to match the situation you're in. When you have plenty of health, the music goes quiet and back to its basic layer. Presumably it finds the fact that you're not dying to be boring. I don't know, but if you mess up and end up losing it, the other layers start to appear and up the tension. An extra drum beat, rhythm or melody backs up the music that's already playing and increases the volume to really pile on the pressure. If you're down to your last sliver of health, a siren plays in time with the music to warn you of your impending death. The cool thing is there's also a remix album with a J-pop song on it by Callum Byrne that uses some of the samples from the original song. Now this is something different altogether. Luftrausers is a plane combat game in which you get to choose your weapon, body and engine in various configurations to make things explode in different ways. The unique thing about the music is that each part of the plane adds its own layer, with all of the different parts having their own sound. With all of the possible playing combinations, that makes 125 different tracks. What's nice is that the sounds match the weapon or engine. So the gungeon, that moves by firing bullets backwards, has a heavy thud, and the laser has a really buzzy instrument in it. The OST compiles menu music with 5 select plane combination tracks. A bonus that comes with the OST is a remix pack that has all the different parts of the plane soundtrack separately, so you can either remix them or use them in a music generator that someone has made, so you can listen to your favourite planes whenever you want without having to fight off an armada of enemies. Here are a couple of games that are about creating music. They don't have soundtracks outside of what you hear in the game. Okay, well there is a single track outside of the game called Worms Present: Node Land Dreams and Memories. But really the animals, plants, weather and season on the island of Proteus are what make it special, forming procedural music together. The island of Proteus has changing seasons that form the lowest level of the music and determines the mood. The grey fog in winter that hides the top of hills in slow tones, while the trees are bare of leaves, is a beautiful contrast to the vibrant and energetic summer filled with sounds of life. There are mushrooms that honk. Very pretty. Still being made, but there's a demo you can get from its Kickstarter page. It's all about taking your hums, oohs and ahs and creating a feedback of light and sound. Unsurprisingly inspired by group singing on LSD at Burning Man. At the moment it just feeds back your singing with shapes and colours and harmonies, but when finished it will be more intelligent and reactive. So these are examples of great to listen to music that also work really well within the games. I know that AAA titles have been using adaptive music to capture the emotions they want really well. An indie title using these techniques is just great because it is a major dedication to get it into the game. I highly recommend all the games mentioned here as well as the music albums themselves. Everything I mentioned is in the description, and if there is any music you want to recommend, please leave a comment so we can chat about it. If you've enjoyed this video then please do leave a like as it helps out a ton, and if you want to see more videos about indie games then please do press that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, goodbye.